Thank you for joining me today. I am Dr. Marianne, and I'm very excited to talk about today's topic, which is strong spines, calm minds, and family wellness for kids. So we're looking at chiropractic support for children's mental and nervous system health. So we're going to explore how chiropractic support can play a very important role in helping a child's mental and nervous system. And it's not just about the physical well-being, it is also about nurturing a very balanced and calm state of mind for our young ones. And as parents and caregivers, we often focus on our children's physical development, but their mental health and their nervous system health is just as crucial. So you have to find ways that we can support that aspect in order to have more resilient and happier kids. So the things that we'll be talking about is why children's mental health matters. We'll dive into nervous system 101, how stress actually physically manifests physically in children, and the modern stresses, so our screen time, school stress, and how that impacts spinal health. And then we'll talk about chiropractic care and how parent co-regulation and creating an ideal environment will help. Okay. So this week is actually Children's Mental Health Week, and it runs from February 9th to the 15th. So this is a really good time to talk about this very important topic. So we just need to remember that mental health is not just about emotions. It is very intertwined with the neurological and physical aspects of health. So when we look at chiropractic care and taking care of the whole nervous system, we look at examining how our bodies, our nervous system adapts to stress and adapts to our environment. Especially in today's very fast-paced world, children really start to face anxiety, sleep disturbances, attention challenges. So it's important to understand that calmness, or the state of being calm, it's not just a behavior that we tell kids that, hey, you need to be calm. It's actually a state that their nervous system learns through regulation. And this is a way that we can start to gain more awareness and find different ways, as well as learn different techniques that we can support and nurture their well-being. Okay? So when we look at the nervous system, we have the basic understanding, right, that spinal movement is really important for feeding the brain. That's because your nervous system is made up of your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerves that goes to all your organs, your tissues, your muscles. So this is a spine. The brain sits in the skull. It goes into the spine all the way to the bottom of your spine, and it comes out as the nerves. So that's how your brain, your spinal cord, sits in the body and creates that communication system. So because there's a very intimate relationship between the movement of the spine and how that impacts the nerves, we need to take care of our spine, because that houses and protects the very delicate nervous system. So this is a very powerful trio, and they regulate all your essential functions, such as your mood, your attention, your sleep, your digestion, your emotional responses. And it's a whole slew of warning signs or body signals that your body will start to give if any particular part of your spine and the nerve supply is being impacted. So a key takeaway is just how the systems all work together to regulate your body in order for healing to happen. And you've likely heard of us talk a lot about your fight-flight response. So that keeps the body in a state of alertness and protectiveness for the sake of survival. And you've also heard of rest and digest. So that's the response in which, when your nervous system is calm, you can then learn, you can heal, you can rest, you can digest. So these are the states that are central to how our nervous system manages stress and relaxation. So when the spine is not moving well, then that is when your nervous system is always engaged, is always on edge. So for young growing nervous systems, they thrive on three main things: movement, safety, and consistency. So movement especially is vital because it stimulates that brain development and helps maintain a very balanced nervous system for them to grow and develop and to adapt to all these changes in their life. Okay, And the way stress often manifests physically in children are signals that are sometimes easily overlooked because children, they don't have the words to describe what they are feeling, so their bodies usually absorb the stress. So some of the examples is that when they are in school, there's a lot of pressure from studying, from peers, different things coming up that they have to deal with, and they're learning the ropes. Social anxiety, family changes, sensory overload. So that all shows physically, and these are some of the things that we can consider. So like looking at their posture, are they slouching? Is their head in a forward head position? It's very subtle shifts, but it's an early indicator of stress. And then there's also shallow chest breathing. So it might seem it might seem minor, but that actually underlies and indicates an underlying tension, and it's often accompanied by frequent tummy aches. It's also a common physical response to stress. Another sign is teeth grinding, so it's more noticeable at night when they sleep. When they start to get stressed, the jaw clenches and it gets very tense, and they tend to grind their teeth. Okay, some children may also have difficulty falling asleep, so that's a very poor cycle of rest, and that it in return leads to even heightened stress. So taking note of meltdowns over things that may seem small, this can be a child's way of expressing overwhelming stress in their life. Another one that's often overlooked is growth spurts. So when the kids at a certain age, they are in a stage of growth, right? Bones grow faster than the way their muscles can adapt. So there's a temporary affectation to their coordination. So their coordination might decrease. They might be a bit more clumsy during that period, and their whole nervous system is recalibrating their body awareness, what's happening in their bodies, what's happening in the environment. So as a result, you get increased spinal tension, again that clumsiness that we just mentioned, poor posture habits that locks in, and greater sensitivity to stress. Other things that might be overlooked are like their physical falls or injuries, even the minor ones. So kids, they fall a lot, and most of the time they're just like, oh, just shake it off, you'll be fine. But the thing is, you have to remember that your body remembers the impact, it keeps the score. So you have protective muscle guarding that can potentially linger, and that could lead to very subtle movement restrictions. And even if there's no pain, your spinal stress can be stored. This is why it's important to get kids checked as regularly as possible. Even if nothing much is showing up, at least you want to make sure that their nervous system health is keeping up with their growth and their development. Another thing to notice, just to dive a bit deeper into that, is the tight muscles in their neck and their shoulders. So the tension is often a direct result of stress, right? So that affects the overall posture and their comfort. So when they don't really move very well, reduce spinal mobility, that is when the spine isn't moving as much as it should. So there are some kids that, like, as kids you should be able to have full range of movement, and if you notice, there are some that they go until a certain position and one side is not moving as much as the other. That's an indication that it's impeding their physical and cognitive development. The gut-brain connection is very crucial. So when we are stressed, especially for kids, that leads to digestive issues, right? Such as constipation, bloating. It in turn affects your mood and energy levels. And then poor sleep as well. When children don't sleep well, sleep is when a lot of healing happens. When they don't sleep well, their nervous system cannot recover adequately. So this leads to a whole cycle of stress and unrest. So that's why we say, like, behavior is communication from the nervous system. So it's for us to listen to the signals that are showing up in our kids so that we can support them more effectively. Okay, and this is where we talk about like all the other impacts of stress on their life. It's not from one big event. Stress usually accumulates, it builds a little bit over time, right? It just keeps adding on. So things like long hours sitting at school carrying really heavy backpacks. I see some of the kids with massive backpacks and they're like tiny. That's so much stress on their frame. And then you have the screen use, which is one of the most common things we see now, either on their phones or on the computers. Okay, so that leads to that forward head posture. And then you have the homework without movement breaks because they're sitting throughout the whole time. So that all leads to a trained pattern that's constantly showing up in their systems. And also emotional stress with no physical release. What that means is that they hold all these stresses of different emotions, but they are actually not as active. So they're not out there playing, running, moving around to get all those movement breaks that they need. So what happens in the spine is that the muscles will hold, they will tighten and they will hold the body. That's why your spinal joints move less. And that's when you become stuck in a state of fight flight. So your nervous system stays in a very alert mode, okay? So tension becomes the new normal, and this is how quiet spinal stress accumulates. And with that increased screen use, when we're talking about the forward head posture, just a reminder for those of you who have heard this a few times, every centimeter that your head goes beyond your shoulder, that's 2 extra kg of head weight that's pulling and pushing down onto your neck and your shoulders, okay? And that's so much weight that we are already holding. When you have increased screen use as well, it also creates unhealthy input into the brain because you're not really moving much. You're always using the screens, which is always emitting blue light. So that tells the brain like, hey, we're awake. So even at night when they're on the screens, that will affect their sleep patterns. And it's also just so much stimulation that's making it very hard for children to be able to be aware of their own body and to self-regulate. And when we look at school stress, apart from that long sitting hours and the heavy backpack, children also face a lot of performance pressure. So that leaves less room for outdoor time or for free movement, which is very important for their well-being. So they're spending too much time in the classrooms, too much time just not moving around and always being locked into being stuck on their screens or working through things. And finally, the chiropractic connection is just that spinal stress is not just equating to pain, right? So it influences how well your nervous system adapts, and the connection is important because it shows how spinal health can affect a child's overall stress response and adaptability. So we always want to make sure that their life is set up well from the get-go so that they can grow well, develop well, form really good hand-eye coordination, make sure that their systems are keeping up with the stress that's being added on in their life so that they don't fall as sick as easily, they won't have that many issues with their digestion, sleep comes easy, they wake up and they're refreshed and raring to go, okay? And with chiropractic care, a lot of people's concern is, oh, is this going to be too much for my kid? So there's always going to be different ways that we can support the nervous systems. So from any age, right from birth all the way up till they're teenagers, the adjustments will shift and change depending on what the body needs as well as the frequency. So children adapt very, very well to getting adjusted. Their nervous systems respond very quickly and it adapts well and it starts healing a lot better. So in terms of like the frequency or even like I mentioned, the type of adjustment, so sometimes we use just a really gentle pressure, especially for babies, where we're just putting our hands on, let's say, the top of their neck. And it's not gonna be the kind of movements that you've seen from our videos, but it can just be a little impulse as we just guide their head in a certain position. Sometimes you'll see the baby just like give a yawn and then give a stretch in that position, and that's the adjustment. The child knows what it needs to do. The brain does everything because the body has this amazing innate ability to heal and to respond to guided inputs into helping the system just flourish. Okay, so with the right care, their nervous system can then better handle stress and develop optimally. Additionally, chiropractic care really supports neurodevelopment, and that helps with the emotional and behavioral regulation. So this is important because it complements other strategies that focus on emotional well-being. And many parents have reported several positive changes in their children, such as improved sleep, better focus, calmer emotional responses, enhanced body awareness. So all these improvements highlight the holistic benefits that chiropractic care can bring. So our goal is to provide a very comprehensive support to the children, to the family, and just making sure that the environment is ideal so that the kids, the parents, everyone can thrive both physically, emotionally, mentally, chemically. Okay, so that's why chiropractic is not about the cracking. It is not about the treating of like just the symptoms of mental illnesses, etc. It's really about supporting neurodevelopment. It's about regulating your system, and it's about creating overall wellness and health. And this is where parents as well, when we talk about the importance of co-regulation and creating a calm environment for our children. So calm children thrive in calm environments. This means that we as parents or caregivers, we play a very crucial role in setting the tone. And here are some effective co-regulation tools to consider. So you establish predictable routines with their scheduling and with like planning out their time, etc. So this helps children feel really secure, and it reduces anxiety. The tone of voice is powerful. A very soothing tone can help de-escalate stress, but sometimes when we get stressed or we get rushed, our tone tends to take an octave higher, or we tend to speak a bit faster. So just being able to notice when we're in that state and taking a step back, re-establishing that soothing tone, slowing down your words, that will help a lot. Using touch and closeness, proximity, to provide comfort and assurance. So children thrive on touch, which is why, you know, like when you've got like a newborn, they always encourage skin on skin contact with mom and dad, right? So that helps to regulate their systems, and they do feel really safe. So children learn by example. So modeling how we stay calm under pressure teaches them how to navigate the world in a much safer, regulated manner. And when it comes to the environment, constant sleep times very important because you're creating a schedule, you're creating a habit. Okay, and there's always optimal times for sleep because we have our circadian rhythms that dictate also when does our digestion stop, when does our temperature rise, when does this happen, when does that happen throughout the different cycles of sleep. And we do need to sleep so that our physical recovery, the flushing out of metabolic toxins, all can happen while we are asleep. We usually do a full talk on sleep, so I'll get into more details in that talk. Okay, and also consider a screen-free wind down period of time before bedtime. So that will help promote sleep. In the meantime, encourage more daily movement. So little breaks here and there to help release energy and to improve focus. And ensure there are safe, quiet spaces at home where children can retreat to when they need to relax and just be away from all the stimulating environments. So by incorporating different strategies like this, we are not only helping our children regulate their emotions, but also fostering an environment where they can thrive. And then here are some simple but effective movements that can help calm children. So these are not only easy to incorporate into their daily routine, but also beneficial for their physical and emotional well-being. So first we have the bear hug squeeze. So just making sure that it's like a very big hug and it provides deep pressure. So just holding tight and just breathing through. The cat cow stretch, that you can do it on all fours, so on your knees and on your hands. But you can also do it sitting. So if you are doing it sitting, you can just make sure that they come off and give about half a distance from their chair. Legs neutral, hands on knees. And as you breathe in, you're going to extend your spine. So as you breathe in, extend your spine and then look up as well. So taking a breath in and breathe out. just flex forward. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, that provides movement throughout the whole spine. And it helps with aligning the spine but also calming the mind. The wall push is to create proprioceptive input. So this increases body awareness and helps ground the child. So it's almost doing just like a straight push-up but just against the wall and putting gentle input. So you're getting them to just push against the wall with their hands in that push-up position. So hands will be shoulder width apart, just lean in and then just lean away, okay? Slow neck circles, that helps to provide gentle mobility to the neck, and it helps in releasing the tension from the neck and the shoulders, especially if they've been at the desk doing this the whole time. So just nice, slow, gentle neck circles. You can do perhaps 5 in one direction and 5 in the opposite direction. Okay. The child's pose is basically when they are on the ground. This helps to calm their mind, and it promotes relaxation and balance. So they're just sitting with their legs tucked under them, and like in the Japanese sitting pose. And then as they fall forward over their body, they can use their hands to just stretch up over their head. So if the floor is here and I'm on the floor and I'm already down, I can just like stretch up. Or I can put my hands beside me as I lay downwards while my feet is tucked under my bum, basically. Okay, so that's a very calming pose to be in. You can also look up online on YouTube those yoga movement poses and easy stretches for the children. Okay, so you can then notice if, hey, does this actually bring calm to them, but does it also bring a sense of reassurance to their environment? And these are some of the breathing drills that you can also incorporate as a family to connect and stay in that state of calm together. There's 2 effective techniques. One is the balloon belly breathing, and the other one is 4-6 breathing. So balloon belly breathing, you just put your hand on your belly, and as you inhale, you're bringing your awareness into the belly. So as you inhale, your belly should be rising, and as you exhale, your belly should be falling. So as you inhale and exhale, inhale again and exhale. So that brings the awareness out from the chest and down into the belly. And then with the 4-6 breathing, all you're doing is just inhaling for 4 seconds. So when you inhale, exhale for 6. You can either inhale through your mouth, exhale through your, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, or do the inhale and exhale both through the nose. So the longer exhale acts as a calming signal to your nervous system, and that helps you to feel more relaxed and centered. Okay. Now, earlier on, we were talking about the physical stress of like all the heavy backpacks. This is one that you've probably seen in our practice, the ergonomic backpack for kids. So the quick checklist that we can go through is to make sure that you keep the backpack's weight to less than 10 to 15% of the child's body weight. So this reduces the strain on their back and helps them move more comfortably. Next, you should encourage both straps of the backpack, because I know some kids like to sling one strap over and just leave the other hanging. So the more they can actually use both sides of the strap, that ensures even weight distribution, and it also prevents awkward postures. And then when they are studying, the screen should be at screen level, so that this will help to maintain a neutral neck position and prevent unnecessary strains. So if you're using a laptop, make sure the laptop is raised, and if you need to get like a separate keyboard so that the keyboard's closer to them for a more neutral pose, then you can switch your desk ergonomics accordingly. Okay, additionally, remind them to keep their feet flat on the floor while they are seated. So this provides proper alignment and reduces tension. So when you cross one leg over the other, that usually stretches your back out and tilts your pelvis in a manner that creates more tension and stress in that low back. So over a period of time, the body learns that pattern, and that's when they start getting low back pains or tension that starts to drive up between the shoulder blades too. And make sure that you enforce try as much as possible to take a break every 30 to 45 minutes, okay? Because the breaks help to refresh their mind and body, and then that will help provide better focus, and that reduces fatigue as well. So get up, move, stretch a little bit, reset, come back, and then get back into the studying. So these are small adjustments that can make a very big difference in their comfort and their health. So that's why like small daily inputs actually lead to big changes in the nervous system, because we're doing little things to combat the little stresses. So everything adds up. It's important to remember that our mental health is really deeply connected to our nervous system health. Okay, that is why regulating the nervous system, both physically through the adjustments or through movement, as well as having different ways to release stress, is very important. So it's not just about what we feel, but how our body responds. So the journey to better health is more about consistency than perfection. Doing a little bit every day can lead to a significant improvement over time. And that's where chiropractic care is part of a comprehensive family wellness approach. It's really one of the tools that you can use to support your journey to a healthier nervous system. And over here, we do provide nervous system checks for your whole family, because we really just want the best for the people that we care about and the people that they care about. So taking care of the nervous system is the best way to just get your alignment and also have the full ability to enjoy life as you should, okay? So our complimentary first visit offer is a great way to start. It includes a full spine exam and posture test to assess your current spinal health. So this is a key step to understanding how your body is functioning. And next, the consultation will dive into your health history. So this helps us tailor our approach to fit your specific needs, ensuring a personalized experience. And most importantly, you also you do receive your first chiropractic adjustment. So this is not just about immediate relief, it's the starting point for long-term health benefits. So if x-rays are needed, usually not for pregnant moms or for young children, if x-rays are needed, we will include those too to give us a clear picture of what's going on within your system itself. So this is just the start of your journey to better health, and no matter at which point you're at, we're just here to support you every step of the way. Okay? If you have any questions or any requests for any other topics, always feel free to just send us a DM or just come speak to us whenever you're coming for adjustments. We hope that this session has been informational, and we